Okay, welcome to our first video. We're going to be going over order of operations. So in case you missed our lesson in class today or you need a second review, these videos will now be available to you at any time you need them. So today we did a review of order of operations. I say review because this should have already been taught in pre-algebra, 8th grade. So if you remember, we have this mnemonic over here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, to help us remember order of operations. The P, as you remember, stands for parentheses. Okay? Parentheses are always first, so if you ever see something like this, or sometimes if there are lots of parentheses, then what you'll see on the outside of those are going to be brackets, okay? These always come first. All right, next is going to be exponents. Exponents. So with an exponent, let's say I have a number, I'm going to call it x, and the exponent is up here. So this is called the power, and down here this is called the base. So for example, if my base was 2, I raised it to the third power. This means that I would multiply 2 times 2 times 2, okay, which would give me 8. So those are exponents. M stands for multiplication. I'm just going to put multiply here. So when I multiply, I have many different ways that I can see it. First of all, we're going to probably stop using the x for multiplication, because as we get deeper and deeper into our algebra, you can see why if I use a variable like x over here, I might get confused with this x meaning multiplication over here. So after today, you probably won't see that very often. So we need other ways to see it. We could also see with a dot in between, so a times b also represents the same thing. I could have parentheses, so that also means a times b. And if it's two variables, then they can sit next to each other, or if it's a number and a variable, as long as it's not a number and a number. Because if I put 1 and 2 together, that obviously doesn't mean 1 times 2, right? So the only time that it works are only with the variables, okay? Next, D is for division, divide. And again, our original symbol that you may have seen elementary through junior high, this quotient symbol is going to kind of fade out. What you're going to see more often is more like a fraction. The way this reads is A divided by B. Okay? Or in your calculators, sometimes it will give you backslash. That also means division. A, addition. Those don't change. A plus B. And the last one, subtraction. A minus B. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples. So we're going to start with example 1. I'm going to do 8 plus 20 minus 4. And I'm going to use the quotient symbol here, but I'm also going to rewrite it so that you can see it both ways. So if I actually rewrite this without the quotient symbol here, then what's going to sit up in the numerator is everything here in the parentheses. So all of this is going to move up to the numerator, and after the quotient symbol, this 8 is going to sit by itself down in the denominator. So it's kind of like we're moving from a 1-bedroom house or a 1-story house to a 2-story house. I'm making this now into a fraction, okay? But when I solve it, it's going to come out to be the same exact thing. So let's solve this one over here. So order of operations says parentheses first. So the first thing I'm going to solve are the parentheses. If you look, I have multiple things going on inside the parentheses, so I'm left with addition and subtraction. The general rule for that, if you're left with either multiplication and division, addition and subtraction, is you just move left to right. So first I'm going to do 8 plus 20. That gives me 28. And now I just bring everything down. I'm going to leave the parentheses for now. Okay, next, 28 minus 4, that gives me 24, still divided by 8, and finally 24 divided by 8 is 3. If I would have done it this way over here, I would have gotten the same exact thing in the numerator. I would have also ended up with 24, and it would be sitting over 8 until I end up with my final answer of 3. Alright, example 2. We're going to do 16 plus 80 divided by 20. Okay, and I've asked a friend of mine to help me with this problem to be sure that we're all on the same train of thought. So, what do you think is going to go first?
I think that you should divide first.
Okay, he thinks division comes first. I think I agree with him. So let's look at that. If I do 80 and 20, what I can do to separate that out, even though they're not written there, is I can make my own set of parentheses. Could I rewrite this as a fraction?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it because most of the time, am I going to see it with a quotient or am I going to see it with a fraction?
With a fraction.
Yep. So now that I figured out that this comes first, why doesn't addition come first?
Because it's the order of operations.
Oh, very good. Okay, so 16 plus 80 over 20. I think this looks a little bit easier to read. I don't know. It's up to you guys. For now, I'm not going to emphasize too much if you use this or if you use that, but we'll do the second one for now. Alright, so 16 is going to hang out. Now what?
You divide 80 by 20.
What do I get?
4.
Alright, last step.
Add them together and you get 20.
Okay, good. So at home, hopefully you got the same exact answer. And the important thing that we did there was taking this division and changing that into fractional form. Alright, here's our last example. I'm going to get my friend again to help me work this problem. So, what is going to come first, do you think?
Well, according to our example up top, I think we should do what's in the parentheses first.
Okay, I agree with you. P parentheses comes first. So, starting here, 8 plus 4 gives me
12.
Okay, and now I'm going to bring everything down. Alright, what's next?
Multiplication.
You sure?
Positive.
Do I get a different answer if I did the subtraction first than if I did the multiplication?
Yes, because then you would have negative 5 times 7.
Ah, okay. I believe you. So, although there's not parentheses there, I'm going to pretend, because that's what I'm going to do first. So, 7 times 7, I get 49 minus 12. Last step.
37.
Excellent. 37. Woot. So, if you agree with my friend, you're correct. If you disagree or you got something else, then go back and look at your work. Be sure to always follow order of operations, whether we're just working with numbers or even when we switch to working with variables. I hope this video helped, and I will see you soon.